Hello, this is Thomas, K4SWL. If you're new here, I like to do real-time, real-life amateur radio field activation videos. And today we're at Tuttle Educational State Forest. And if you've been coming along with me on these activations for long, you'll know this is a park I hit really often. As I've said before in the past, it's very easy for me to access. This is sort of along my travel corridor during the week. And so it's just so easy for me to hit this park, and I'm just so fortunate that it's such a brilliant park for doing parks on the air. There were so very many places on this really large park grounds that I can, set up. I mean, there's a wide variety of locations I can set up, and they've got wonderful trail system here and just all kinds of great stuff. So I love coming here. And I should say, actually, I've had hunters ask before why activators don't go to more parks and add more parks to their unique parks that they've worked. And I think that every activator wants to do that. We all love going out to new places. But, at the end of the day, we're real people living somewhere, working somewhere. And so we kind of get tied down to our home location. And those are the parks we tend to activate the most. And that's one of the reasons why you don't see some activators with more parks. And there are people, too, who live out. I was just helping someone who reached out to me and trying to find local parks out in one of the Midwestern states. And where they were located, everything's a good 45 minutes away from them at minimum. Some people, like my buddy Brian, K3ES, who maybe we'll even hear on the air today, who knows, because we tend to be each other's footprint when we're working. He's an active activator and hunter, and he lives, one of his places where he lives is like within 100 yards or something of a state park. So, yeah, we're all in different situations. But what I like to do, since I tend to go to the same parks the bulk of the time, is shake it up a little bit with each activation, try something new, try something different. And I'll admit I'm very fortunate that I have a wide variety of field radios to use. Over the years, I've sort of accumulated field radios. It hasn't always been that way. In fact, in my quarter of a century of being an amateur radio operator, 95% of that time, I've only had one, maybe two field radios. It's only been in the past few years I started accumulating field radios. And I think if I just had one field radio, what I would do is, and what I've done in the past, is I try to build and try different antennas. So I'll either build them or buy them and just give them a go and see how they work. And that's one of the reasons why here I always like to pair different radios with different antennas just to try things and shake them up a little bit. Today I'm actually using a tried and true combination. I'm using the PackTenna 9-to-1 random wire antenna with I think it's like 31 feet of radiator going up into this pine tree. In fact, I don't know if you probably can't see this in the video, but it actually is perfectly suspended as a vertical. I shot this line probably about 45 feet up, so there's quite a lot of line holding it up here, and it's being suspended as a vertical. And I've got a 17-foot counterpoise running this way, which is roughly sort of a north-south direction, with the idea that maybe east and west will be, it'll have a little bit more of an east and west pattern. I have no idea. I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think that's probably how the pattern would work off of the counterpoise. Now, the counterpoise is lying on the ground. It is not a raised counterpoise, which that would make it, kind of more radiating and probably more of a part of the system. But this is how I set it up today. And I'm using my KX2, which is no doubt probably one of my top 2 or 3 field radios, along with the KX1, which I absolutely love as well. I love the KX2. I could very, very easily use this combination right here of the KX2 and this random wire antenna, and I'd never need anything else. I could do all of my park activations, all of my SOTA activations, everything with this antenna combo and radio combo if I wanted to. It would not be a problem at all. But at the end of the day, I pair a lot of different antennas with the KX2 because it has a built-in ATU. I can pretty much do anything with it. As some people will say, you could probably tune up a wet noodle. I bet I could with the KX2's internal ATU. It's just exceptionally good. But I'm not shaking up the antenna today, but what I am going to do is shake up the radio a little bit. I thought about it on the way over here, And I wanted to do something a little different. I thought, you know, I want to do CW because I want to try out, this is only the second time I've taken this into the field, the new CW Morse SP4 paddle, which was designed by Larry N0SA. And I love these paddles. I've only used them once before in the field, and when I did that, I was using my Xiegu X5105, which frankly I need to use more often because I'm having difficulty with this electronic keyer. I'm just a little not used to it anymore. I'm used to the Elecraft stuff and all the other radios I have, but the Xiegu one, the keying is just a little different, and so I wasn't keying my best there. So I hope I'll do a lot better today. Of course, it could just be my fist. I don't know. But I'm using that with my KX2. And we're going to run not 5 watts. I usually do all of my activations with 5 watts or less. This time, we're going to go much less. Let's see here. Let me start things up. Let me put on my glasses so I can see something as I sit on this very damp picnic table. You can't tell it, but we had a lot of rain move in recently, and yeah, my seat's going to be wet. Here we go. Start the radio, and let's look here. Maybe you can see this very well or not, but let's look at the power setting right now. It is at 5 watts, if you can see that, 5 watts. Let's start moving it down. Let's not do 4. Let's not do 3, 2, 1. Should I do 1 watt? That's awfully low. Let's go down to a half watt, 500 milliwatts. I thought about this on the way over. I thought, you know, I haven't done an activation with 500 milliwatts. I don't know if I ever have. And why not, right? There's QRP, and then there's QRPp, which is like super low power. We're going to try this today and just see what that might yield with a, you know, random wire antenna. So not the most efficient system, but yeah, let's try it and see if we can yield anything. I'll know if I'm getting out at all because I scheduled the activation, and if the reverse beacon network functionality is working properly with the POTA website, then I should be able to find out that everything's working because I'll be spotted automatically. Okay, I also want to get my HAMRS app going here. Okay, I've got this set up already. People have asked about this, the HAMRS app. I've already done this, so I won't do it again. But basically, if you want to make your file name, the file name protocol, or the name of the log, you want it to be the same as the file name protocol for POTA, which is your call sign, then the @ symbol, then the park number, K dash, and then the 4-digit, or whatever the park number is, which is, it can be K or V or VE or whatever, dash, and then usually a 4-digit number, then dash again, and then the date, which is year, month, day. And when you save it that way, then when you export the file, then it's already ready to go and be uploaded by the POTA network. And I've already set this up. You have to put in your park number in here. Whoops. I need to readjust this. Here we go. Let's make a wider base on this thing. How does that sound? Yeah, that'll work better. So you put your park number in here, and your call sign, and then your band and your mode. Now you can put the power in here. In fact, maybe I'll do that this time so I can remember it later. It's 0.5 is the power. And you can put the frequency in if you want to, but I'm probably not going to do that today. Now you may notice down here where it has entries, I've got an entry for KX2. I put a throwaway entry in, and what that does is when I put it in and register it, then everything saves on the logbook. So if I move off the screen to say spot myself or check something or take a photo or whatever, then when I move back, I know that all my settings will be saved. Sometimes if you don't do that, if you don't put in a fake entry, you'll come back and like some of the band and mode and stuff will not be there, or it'll be some default or something. So that's the reason I do that. So I'll try to log while I'm doing this too. Now I've been listening to this all the time I've been talking, and I haven't heard a single person on 14058. So let's just see. Oh, I need a tune. 1-to-1, good. That's good. Let's see here if I can get you in a good position to look at this. Okay, I don't know if I can get this where you can see. This is the problem. Sometimes the reflection makes it really difficult to show you what's on the screen of the radio anyway. So, yeah, it'll be what it is. You'll be able to see my logbook. Shouldn't be a problem today. So, here we go. I love this key. Okay, here we go. So I'll have it send in beacon mode my call here. So we won't tell anyone on the other end that we're only running 500 milliwatts. I'm going to get, if I get any contacts at all, they'll be pretty low signal reports, I'm sure of it. But this is something you can attempt to do in CW, and maybe this won't work. If it doesn't, by the way, what I'll do is probably knock it up to 1 watt, then maybe 2 watts and 3 watts or whatever. And then after I finish the CW portion, I want to do some single sideband. I actually brought my microphone this time. So I plan to use the microphone. Oh, let's see, I'm going to move over to the POTA page, and if I get spotted, I'll be able to, oh yeah, look, I got 11 dB, that's not bad at all. So evidently my signal is definitely making it out. The RBN picked me up. It's funny, you can see the RF power is just like one segment. 529. So I'm trying to log here on the side too. So now we'll be on, yeah, there we go. So hey, got one. Good old K1 EEB. Wow. He's having a hard time hearing me. There's some QS Baker going on today. I can't expect it to be as frequent as using even 5 watts. I mean, we're talking like a fraction of the power of 5 watts here, right? Like a tenth. So, okay. It's on repeat. I don't need to do that. So yeah, this gives me time to check something in here in my logs. I want to make sure when I put in N4 OW's call. Anybody else know? Okay. Now I'll go down and check this in the call signs. Woo! Let's see. I think that's a garbage truck. Yeah, I had it right in here. That's good. There we go. So we got 6 so far. See if it'll pull up the map here. No, it doesn't pull up everything. But it's not bad, right? For 0.5 watts. It could be worse. I'm sorry for all the people who are chasing me right now and they're like, where's Thomas? I can't hear him. I mean, using a half of a watt is definitely going to have a pretty big impact on your signal. I mean, that is very low power, but it's kind of fun to see that you can actually do this. This is exciting to me, actually. I think this is great. Did you hear me, Brian? Did I hear that? Maybe I heard his call incorrectly. Okay. 229. Okay. I'm asking for the calling. Okay. Okay, so I heard. Okay, that must have been who I heard. You know, because I can't help but think sometimes, like, what if I only had 500 milliwatts? What if something was wrong? You know, like my finals blew on my, 100-watt radio or something like that. Sometimes you can get just like a little bit of a signal out, even with your finals not working, your finals, I guess, not working properly. And right now we've got 8 contacts. That's not bad. Did I have that correctly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Sorry, I thought I heard Brian in there, but what I was hearing was the I was hearing the N. Okay, KF9. Got him. Okay, I'll keep calling CQ. There is fading on here, so we're doing this actually with poor band conditions. I can tell, because you can tell how strong a signal is and then how far it goes down. And I'm definitely hearing that now. Got him. I just missed that first letter. Gotcha. Got you. Oh, that was great, wasn't it? Thanks for joining me today, by the way. That's really nice. As I try this 419, he's being very honest with his field report. Minnesota, nice. Okay, I think I got that right. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask his first call again. Got him. That'll hold my place until I can get this into the calls. I think I've got a speaker wire loose in my radio, which would not be surprising. I've had this forever, and I'm rough with it. Okay, let's move the power up now to 5 watts again, now that we've been on here for a little bit. Actually, I've got an adjacent signal here. Like half of a kilohertz away. Now, you see this? See, this person's on 14057. It sounds like they're here in the park with me. It sounds like they're so close. Yet, I'm just a half a kilohertz away, and the radio is still coping with that. I'm here to tell you right now that if I had my Xiegu X5105, there is no possible way I'd be able to carry on with someone that close to me. It would not be able to block this. You can hear a little bit of the clicking, not surprising, because that is a super strong signal next to me. But the KX2 can handle this, and that's what you're getting when you buy, you know, a pricier receiver, a better designed receiver. Now, the X5105 is fine and works in most field conditions, but when you have strong adjacent signals, it doesn't always work that well. So let's see here. I am not going to carry on right now. This is a really good time for me just to move on to single sideband, so I can get a little more single sideband time in. So let's try to give this a go. Or should I try? Oh, let's. Might as well try. Okay, let's see. That was 1914, I think. Kansas. Let's get them in there properly. I do have like a little wire loose in here or something. I noticed that earlier. You can hear a little bit of that interference from the clicking next to it, but I may move just a little further away from that person. You know what though? I validated my activation off of 500 milliwatts. Okay, you know what? Let's move on to our single sideband portion. It could be that other people are having a difficult time hearing me because I'm so close to that strong station as well. So let's move to the single sideband portion. Plug in our microphone, and then there is a caveat with this mic, actually. So I obviously don't use mics a whole lot. If you've been with me here on many activations, you'll know that I just don't do that too much. I love single sideband. That's kind of fun. I find it harder to find free frequencies on single sideband. Oh, yeah, I'm going to move this up to power up for my single sideband friends here. We're going to go up to 10 watts. Because why not? And here's the thing, like, I like running QRP, right? I like QRP. I like low power. Now, QRP means different things to different people. There is no, like, official version of what QRP is other than low power. But I would say that it's highly kind of just, it's kind of convention that QRP is 5 watts or less. But with single sideband, that's with digital modes in CW, but I consider 10 watts or less to be single sideband QRP, and the reason for that is I tend to look to QRP contests for that answer because, like I said, no official entity ever declares what QRP is or isn't, unless you live in a country that has QRP levels designated for like novices and that sort of thing. But QRP contests will often say that CW and digital modes are 5 watts, whereas phone or voice modes are 10 watts. And a lot of that's because, you know, the single sideband and voice modes are not as efficient as CW and a lot of our digital modes are. And so 10 watts is considered QRP. At the end of the day, I don't really care. I just like using low power. And what I was doing here, I should say, is kind of a prime example of that QRP saying, what is it? QRP, when you care enough to send the very least. And that's what these people got from me. They got the very least amount of love and power. And thank you so much for working me. I really appreciate this. That was fantastic. It was really good fun actually doing that. Like maybe next time I'll do 1 watt or something. That'd be 2 times the amount of power. Can you imagine what we could do then? So let's try to see. CW, 20 meter single sideband. Now, the trick will be finding a free frequency. And this is one of the things when you get into CW that you realize how easy it is in CW to find a free frequency. Now, that big station that came up next to me before, I don't blame them for moving in right up against me. They probably couldn't hear me because I was running a 1/2 watt. And so they just couldn't hear me where they were, even though they were coming in like super, super crazy loud here. And the reason I moved on is we do have some fading going on today because I was hearing all these other stations. I'm sure you noticed it too, where the station would kind of fade out a little bit, or someone would call me and they were pretty weak or weakish. And then when they would come back, they'd be like crazy loud. And a lot of that's because we were just having some fading going on. So during those times, that's when you really want to make sure that if someone calls you, like they call my call sign and then I reply back to them and then I don't hear anything but crickets, then what I want to do is immediately send their call sign again and give them the full report, because what's happening is you may be down in the lull of that fade and you want to wait for the fade to come back up so that when you call again, maybe you're on the top of it, you're cresting it, and they can hear you really easily and then finish up the exchange. And so that's the reason you want to keep going back, and you don't want to wait too long before you... If you just hear silence or crickets for 2 seconds, you probably want to go ahead and send it again. It's possible, of course, on their end that they may be fumbling with their key or something went wrong, or it's just taking them a while to reply. But maybe they're logging like I'm doing here. But a lot of times it's just because I'm a small station and I just faded out on them a little bit. Okay, so let's change things here. I don't want to call these single sideband. So I'm doing 2 things I did today. A 1/2 watt and 10 watts, because it's so incredibly rare that I run anything over 5 watts. But I've got enough battery to do it now because I just recharged the battery in here. I am hearing the speaker do something weird, and so I need to crack open this KX2 and just check my connections there. One of the weird things about it is when you recharge the battery, the internal battery of the KX2, you have to pull out the battery. So you have to pull off the back, pull out the battery, and there are some speaker wires that cross over there that you're constantly fumbling with. And I suspect that that's become loose because I've had this radio now like 6 years. I think I've been using it 6 years, very heavily for 6 years. So I've opened and closed that door probably 200 times or more easily, doing recharges and stuff. So yeah, that may be what's happening when you hear the audio kind of go out. I think it may be the speaker. Okay, let's see if we can find a free frequency here. And I need to be poised to spot myself because the reverse beacon network is not going to pick up my... it is not going to pick me up on single sideband. Ooh, could it possibly be? Is this frequency in use? This is K4SWL. Is this frequency in use? This is K4SWL. You know what? And this is the other thing. I have two Elecraft mics. One of them I damaged. And before I left today, I grabbed one at the top of my stack, and this may be the damaged one, so it could flake out on me, and I'll have to use the internal mic. Okay, think about this. Okay. Is this frequency in use? This is K4SWL. I'm giving them a long time to respond. CQ-POTA, 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 CQ-POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ-POTA, CQ-POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. 14305. CQ-POTA, CQ-POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ-POTA, CQ-POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Okay, we're still at 19. CQ-POTA, CQ-POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ. So this could be my bad mic. I hope it's not. I think it is, though. CQ-POTA, CQ-POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. So all I have to do is, to interrupt this, is hit my mic real quick, and it'll stop the repeat cycle, the beacon mode. Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ-POTA, CQ-POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ-POTA, CQ-POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. This is, by the way, I actually have a Heil headset that I use with my KX2 when I'm doing single sideband. I should have brought that, but I would have to figure out a way to get the audio off of it while I'm using it, so that would be the problem. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ-POTA, CQ-POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
Kilo Delta 2, Uniform Bravo, Juliet.
Kilo Delta 2, Uniform Bravo, Juliet. Thank you so much. You sound great. About a 5x7 here at Park 4861. QSL?
Roger, 4851. I'll get on the spots page here, but you're about a 5-5 here, Western New York.
Roger, Roger. Thank you very much for the call there from Western New York. You sound great. Actually, you came up to probably about a 5x9 right now, 5x9. Thank you so much, my friend. 7-3s, and have a wonderful day.
You too, thank
you. 7-3. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air. UBJ, KD4, put a 2 in there. Yeah, I did, right. CQ-POTA, CQ-POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ-POTA, CQ-POTA. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
Kilo Hotel Kilo.
Kilo 5, Kilo Hotel Kilo. I think this is the first time I've heard your voice there, Carl. We've always worked each other in CW. Thank you so much for the call. You're a 5x9 here at Park 4861. QSL?
Roger. Thanks for the 5-9, Thomas. You are 5555 into Rochester, New York, QSS.
Roger on the 5x5 into New York. Hey, thank you so much for the contact, my friend. 7-3s, and have a wonderful week.
You took a dip into the noise at the end. Thanks so much for the contact for our first voice contact. Run out there 73.
7-3s, my friend. 7-3s. Have a great week. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air.
CQ-POTA.
This saves your voice using voice memory.
Whiskey
Alpha 1, Kilo Lima, India.
Whiskey Alpha 1, Kilo Lima, India. You're about a 5x7 here at Park 4861. QSL?
QSL, I have you as a 3x1 into the state of Maine. 3x1 into Maine, over.
Roger, roger on the 3x1 in Maine. Thank you so much for the contact, my friend. Have yourself a wonderful day. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air. Whoops. I forgot I'd already pressed that.
POTA to POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
I've got about 30 more minutes I can operate. Got a little more time than normal today, though I do want to fit in a hike. Okay, maybe 15 more minutes. Because I do have to be back home in time to pump by the post office. We have a bunch of packages coming in, and I need to take delivery of those so they're not stuffing up a parcel box and preventing other people from getting their packages.
POTA to POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
Kilo 1, Echo, Echo, Bravo.
Whiskey 2, Juliet, United Victor. Good afternoon.
Okay, first of all, let me get a Kilo 1, Echo, Echo, Bravo. You're 5x5. Great signal here into Park 4861. QSL?
QSL, you're about a 5-3, 5-3, M8, 5-3.
Roger, roger. Thank you very much for the 5x3 into Mike Echo. Thank you very much. 7-3s and have a wonderful, wonderful week. And the station starting with Whiskey 2. Go ahead.
Whiskey 2, Juliet, United Victor.
Whiskey 2, Juliet, United Victor. You're a 5x9 here at Park number 4861. QSL?
Yeah, QSL. Are you outside today or inside?
I'm very much outside today. I'm just sitting here at a picnic table. I decided to do a little bit of single sideband today.
Very good. I'm so envious. My QTH is upstate New York, a little community called Oneida, central New York, about 30 miles from Syracuse. Temperature up here is about 34 degrees, intermittent snow flurries, and just a gray November day.
Yeah, roger that. Yeah, we are pretty lucky. This morning was chilly. Right now, I'm actually in short sleeves, pushing it a little bit. It's about it's probably about 48 degrees here right now, but it's not too windy. Tonight it'll get down about freezing at my home in the mountains, but I'm not in the mountains right now. I'm down in the foothills of North Carolina, near Morganton, North Carolina. Hey, you sound great. Thank you so much for the contact, my friend.
Okay, thank you too, 7-3s, and enjoy your special event station. W2JUV clear.
Thank you very much, my friend. 7-3s and have yourself a wonderful day. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
Victor Alpha 3, Kilo
Whiskey 0, Yankee, Juliet, Tango.
Okay, we'll start with the Victor Alpha 3 station. Go ahead.
Yeah, Victor Alpha 3, Kilo Bravo Whiskey, QSL.
Roger, roger. Victor Alpha 3, Kilo Bravo Whiskey. You're sounding great today. About a 5x7 here into Park 4861, my friend.
QSL on the 5-7. I got you 5-8. 5-8 up here in Oscar, November. QSL?
Roger, roger to 5-8 into Ontario. Thank you so much for the call and for pushing your signal across the border. 7-3s, my friend. Have a great week.
7-3. Thanks for the activation. Have a great holiday.
You too, my friend. And the station ending Yankee Juliet Tango. Go ahead.
Roger, it's Whiskey 0, Yankee Juliet Tango. And you're 5-7 here in Kansas, Kilo Sugar.
Roger, roger. Whiskey 0, Yankee Juliet Tango. Thank you very much for the signal report from Kansas. You're a good 5x9 here at Park number 4861 in North Carolina. QSL?
Very good. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the new park. Have a great day, and 7-3.
7-3s, my friend. And QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air.
Whiskey 0, November Yankee.
Whiskey 0, November Yankee. Great signal. 5x7 here into Park 4861. QSL?
QSL
QSL, the 5x7, you're probably 3.5, 35.
I'm not surprised.
Minnesota. Pretty weak today.
Roger, Roger, my friend. Thank you very much. I'm glad I'm making it up into Minnesota here. I'm running about 10 watts, 10 watts into a 31-foot random wire antenna. Hey, 7.3s, my friend. Stay warm out there.
Oh, very good. Have fun at your activation at 7.3s, thanks.
7.3s, my friend. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air. It is great. Ooh. Okay, there's a station very weak in there. Did I hear Romeo? The station with Romeo, go ahead. Okay, Kilo Romeo 8. I heard Kilo Romeo 8. Go ahead. Okay, can you give me the last letter of your call? The last letter of your call, please. Roger, Roger. Kilo Romeo 8 Delta. Kilo Romeo 8 Delta. You're about a 5x1 here at Park 4861. QSL? Oh, Papa. Okay, Kilo Romeo 8 Papa. Roger, Roger. Kilo Romeo 8 Papa. Kilo Romeo 8 Papa in Michigan. Hey, thank you so much, my friend, for the contact. You are very weak there. I'm also getting some QS Baker, some QSB. Hey, 7.3s, my friend. Have a wonderful week. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. Okay, did I hear a Mike November? Go ahead.
You're about a 3x5, a 3.5 in the Mississippi.
Roger, Roger, can you give me your full call? I got Mike November. Can you give me the rest of your call, please?
It's Whiskey 5, Sierra Mike November. Whiskey 5, Sierra Mike November.
Roger, Roger, I got you in there. Okay, so Whiskey 5, Sierra Mike November. You're about a 5x7 here at Park 4861. QSL?
QSL here is 3x5 and 35 in Mississippi.
Roger, Roger on the 3x5 in Mississippi. Thank you very much, my friend. Have yourself a wonderful week.
Okay, thanks a lot. 73, good luck.
QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air. Kilo 0, Mike Juliet. Kilo 0, Mike Juliet. You are about a 5x5 here at Park number 4861. QSL? Roger, Roger, my friend. That's excellent. Okay, yeah, great to get the signal out. You sound great. Audio is great. It is a little weak today. And there's a little bit of QS Baker going on here. I'm running about 10 watts into a 31-foot random wire antenna and just having a blast. Hey, thank you very much, my friend. Have a wonderful week.
Hey, Roger, Thomas. Thanks. Love your blog.
7.3s, my friend. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air. It's hard for me to do all these things at once. It is really difficult for me to talk. I find it harder to actually log in two places when I'm doing single sideband. Here we go. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
Kilo India 5, Uniform Tango Sierra.
Kilo India 5, Uniform Tango Sierra. Wow, you've got a great signal. 5x9 here at Park 4861. QSL?
Copy that. I got you a 5.7 over here in South Louisiana.
Roger, Roger on the 5x7 into South Louisiana. I really appreciate the signal there from Louisiana. 7.3s and have yourself a wonderful week, my friend.
73, have fun.
QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
Whiskey 5, Delta Uniform India.
Whiskey 5, Delta Uniform India, great signal. You're 5x9 here at Park 4861, QSL.
QSL, thanks for the 5-9. You're a 5-7, Mike Sierra, QSL.
Roger, Roger. I'll take that any day. I really appreciate that. And thank you very much for the contact there from Missouri, or from Mississippi. And 7-3s, my friend.
All right, 7-3. Have a good one today.
You too, my friend. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air. 1939. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
Whiskey 6, Charlie.
The Whiskey 6 station, go ahead.
Yeah, Whiskey 5x3, Central California.
Roger, Roger, my friend. Can you give me your full call? I got Whiskey 6, question mark. Whiskey 6, question mark.
Whiskey 6, Charlie Zulu, W6 Canada, Zanzibar.
Roger, Roger. Whiskey 6, Charlie Zulu. Whiskey 6, Charlie Zulu. Thank you very much, my friend. You sound great. About a 5x8 here at Park 4861. Thank you so much for the contact in California.
Yeah, okay, you're up and down, lots of QRT. 73, have
7-3s, my friend. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air. Wasn't that awesome? That was awesome.
Whiskey Alpha 4, Mike, Quebec, X-Ray.
Whiskey Alpha 4, Mike, Quebec, X-Ray. Great signal. You're 5x9 here at Park 4861. QSL?
Roger, Roger. You are a 5x, didn't look at my meter, but about a 5x6 in east coast of Florida. And solid signal down here. So back to you, K4SWL, WA4MQX.
Roger, Roger, my friend. Yeah, great. That's good to know my signal's getting down there, and you're probably having a little warmer weather than we are right now, which isn't too bad, actually. Hey, 7-3s, my friend. Thank you so much for the contact, and have a wonderful day.
73s, also enjoy your YouTube channel, and good info. Thanks a lot.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for letting me know. And take care, my friend. I hope to log you again here soon. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air.
Whiskey 0, Hotel Lima.
The Hotel Lima station, go ahead.
Whiskey 0, Hotel Lima, you're 555 into Missouri. Nice to work you on sideband comments.
Roger, Roger. I was just thinking the same thing when you said that. Yeah, it's great to work you here on single sideband. You've got a great signal, about a 5x8 here at Park 4861. QSL?
QSL, the 4861. Good luck on the activation. Thanks.
Thank you so much, my friend. Have yourself a wonderful day, and enjoy the nice weather if you can find some. Hey, 7-3s. QRZ, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima for Parks on the Air. Whew. Tuner upper. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air. CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4.
We got 27 contacts. I will have to hop off here in about 2 minutes because I do want to get a hike in before I go home.
CQ POTA, this is Kilo 4.
I'll do one more call after this.
Calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
CQ POTA, this is my final call. This is Kilo 4, Sierra Whiskey Lima calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
November 2, Sierra Mike Juliet.
November 2, Sierra Mike Juliet. You've got a great signal, 5x9 here at Park 4861. QSL?
QSL, you're about 43, upstate New York.
Roger, Roger on the 4-3 in New York. Thank you so much for the contact, my friend. Have yourself a wonderful day.
Hey, thank you. 73, sir, and enjoy the activation. Sounds like you're about ready to wrap for the day.
I am, yeah. I want to try to fit in a hike before I have to jump in the car and drive for about an hour and a half. So I'd like to get a little hike in. Hey, 7-3s, my friend. Take care and hope to work you again soon.
Roger. 7-3 and safe travels.
QRZ, this is Kilo 4 Sierra Whiskey Lima with a final call for Parks on the Air. Okay, nothing heard. This is Kilo 4 Sierra Whiskey Lima, and I am QRT. There, I'll turn it off before anybody calls me. Okay, great. Man, this was fun. This was so much fun. Yeah. I don't know, like, you know, to me, it's kind of fun to see on one end using just like flea power to make these contacts. And again, I have to apologize to anybody who was chasing me today who normally works me because with that low of power, I'm being pretty selective about who I'm working. It's just people who happen to be at the right place at the right time. Especially knowing how bad the fading was today, and you could definitely hear that on the single sideband side as well. And then it was great hearing all these voices, and there are several people in here that I work very regularly in CW, and it's great to hear their voice here in single sideband. I am not as much as I love CW, I'm not a CW or die person. I think that the great thing about amateur radio is we have all these different modes and different radios and different antennas and different activation styles, you know, all these on-the-air activities that you can do. Don't ever limit yourself to any one thing. Try to explore them all, because I really do think that everything, even, you know, digital modes have their appeal. I don't use digital modes in the field a whole lot, but I do kind of tinker around with them at the house. I'd say that out of all the modes, it's for me most of the time the least exciting. However, when I start to do, I really want to do a QRP version of an EME system, so a moon bounce system, and with that I will definitely be taking care using digital modes when I do that. And I think they have, everything has its own place, and for everyone their thing. Like, there's so many ways to enjoy this amazing diverse hobby that we have here. There's just so many ways, so don't ever limit yourself to one thing. Play radio outside, indoors, on mountains, underwater if you can. It doesn't really matter. Do whatever you can to just enjoy the hobby and to experiment. And I would say that there's another aspect to doing Parks on the Air and Summits on the Air, a lot of these on-the-air activities where you're in the field doing activations. There's an aspect that works, I think, with MCOM. And while this isn't an MCOM activity, it does teach you a few really good skills. I would say that the most important one is how to set up a station in short order. Like all of this right here, my radio, my antenna, my feed line, all these things, I was able to deploy this whole system so quickly, like probably within 6 minutes I had everything set up, and that included my camera and everything else and setting up my logs. It just takes no time because I've done it so much. It's just routine. Any of you who do regular field activations know what I'm talking about. Like when I first started doing regular field stuff, so I would say that the first time I ever did very frequent field work was when the ARRL had the National Parks on the Air event in 2016. And it really changed everything for me because I've always loved field day. I've loved some of the QRP contests that are out there, and they're really fun to do, but they're infrequent. All these things are kind of infrequent. And when you go out in the field, it's nice to have kind of just like a little goal or a mission. And like today, when you're an activator, you hop out here and you just have this like a whole family of people that connect on the air and just give you a reason to come out here and play radio. It's a really good excuse to, and it's a really great way to test things like your CW proficiency, your single sideband proficiency. There's actually a whole thing with single sideband I could talk about, which is once you've done it a long time, it tunes up your ear to where you can hear really weak signals in the static in single sideband. And I know that because I remember once I had a friend who came over to my house, and I was having a rag chew with my buddies Mike and Eric, which during the time I wasn't doing a lot of CW, and they were kind enough to do single sideband with me. And a friend was sitting there next to me while I was making the contact because he was kind of interested in it. And I was listening to the radio and I started laughing, and I said, and I just kind of looked at my buddy Mike sitting next to me and I said, "Isn't that hilarious?" And he said, "I didn't hear anything in there. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear a voice." And they were weak, that's true. But to me, I could pull it out because my ear was tuned up to it. Because the best filter is the one between your ears. The ones on the radio help, but you may notice that I don't often go for really, really narrow filters unless there's a lot of QRM or a lot of, in the summer, sometimes I'll narrow the filter a bit. When there's a lot of QRN, QR Nancy, when there's a lot of atmospheric noise, I'll narrow the filter, because that's one great thing about having a really narrow mode like CW, is it does eliminate a lot of that kind of atmospheric noise that can really plague single sideband during the summer. But, my ear was tuned up to single sideband and because I, play with voice mode sometimes. So that's the whole thing about amateur radio, is just enjoy what you can. Don't let anybody tell you there's any one particular way to enjoy radio. Do it your own way. If you're not into QRP, that's perfectly fine. I will just be as happy making a contact with you as I would a QRPer. It doesn't make any difference to me. The most important part is that you're having a good time, that you're sharing your love of what you're doing with other people and helping others who are getting into it, because let's be honest, amateur radio, there's a learning curve here. Even after you've done your tests and everything, there's a learning curve, because there's the theoretical side and the regulatory side that we cover with our amateur radio exams, but there's really not like a proficiency or an on-the-air component for doing that. So when we get our license, we are holding our license in one hand, and maybe we even have some equipment, but we don't always know what to do next. And so that's the reason we should help each other hop on the air and enjoy this amazing hobby of ours that we're kind of privileged to be able to do. So anyway, I better stop waxing poetically here and just pack up everything. And I realize now as I'm talking that I forgot to bring my hiking boots with me. So I think I may just hike on one of their smoother paths today. I got to watch my ankles and not twist them. I think I can fit in probably a good 30-minute really brisk hike and then jump in the car and then head up the mountain. So thank you so much for joining me again today. I really appreciate this. And as I've said before, thank you so much if you're supporting me on Patreon or on the Coffee Fund. I really do appreciate that. You never have to do that. Like if you're new to amateur radio or you're trying to save up for a radio or for an antenna or whatever, don't worry about me. I'll be fine. If you feel like supporting me, I really appreciate it. It does open up my schedule to do more field reports and more activation videos. And if I haven't mentioned it already, always check below to get a link to the field report, because the field report's really where I spend all my time. I put links into all the equipment I'm using. I give background information on what I'm doing. And it usually takes me 3 or 4 hours just to put those together, let alone the video. My videos, as you can tell, I started pressing record and I haven't stopped. So there's no editing other than taking all my video files, putting them together and producing one video file with it, because this puts them in like 4 gigabyte chunks or something. And that's not too hard for me to do. So I'm able to render those really quickly, but actually writing up the field reports where I spend my time. Now I need to take a few photos here before I forget. Pack up, and I hope to work you on the air someday. If you get a chance, go out and play a little radio, indoors, outdoors, wherever. Maybe do what I did. Try to hunt some stations from home with 500 milliwatts if you can, if your radio will go that low. Or go out and do an activation with 500 milliwatts. If you do that, if you do a half of a watt activation, let me know. Send me something about it. Consider even writing a little field report for QRPer, because the whole idea with QRPer is I want a space where people can share what they're doing and they're passionate about low-powered amateur radio in the field. So anyway, take care. Happy holidays if this is making it out before the holidays. And until next time, 7 threes.